our second. Okay. Thank you, Sasetu. I hope I pronounced your name well. Thank you. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar. For the new people just joining us, this is our second edition of the Development Conversations. And our title today is Staying Power, Maintaining Relevance and Impact in Development Work. Okay. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for making our time to join us today. The focus of our session is to explore practical ways of maintaining relevance and impact in development work. We have two incredible speakers joining us today, Laban Onisimus and Frederick Adetiba, but I will leave that for Toby to do the introductions. Okay, we are going to have just a very quick icebreaker this afternoon before I invite Toby. And this session is supposed to last 1 hour, 30 minutes. Hopefully we don't use too much of the time, okay? So to begin with our icebreaker, I just want each and everyone to comment in the chat box. Just tell me where your name, where you're connected from, and one thing you would like to learn from this conversation today. So quickly, if you can just write a comment. I can go first. Emanuela and I connected from Bayelsa State. And I'm hoping to learn new approaches. Hoping to learn new approaches. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Laban. Okay, so you can see my comment. So everybody quickly just tell me where you're connected from and what you would want to learn from, what you're hoping to learn from this conversation, this webinar today. Thank you, David. Okay. Thank you, Henry. Wow, thank you, Joseph, Julius. Thank you. I also want to know where you're connecting, where you're joining from. I can see Abuja, Kano. Oh, also have someone from Doha. Thank you, Kashim. Nice to see you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh, yes, David. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one, actually. If you joined our last one, we actually spoke about conflicts. Well, hopefully today there will be a time for question and answers after the session. Maybe quickly, 20 minutes. Everybody just drop your questions, or we'll also share a Google form for feedback and questions. You also ask your questions. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yeah, yeah, Cheno. I hope I got your pronunciation right. Thank you. That's also a very good question. You're going to learn a lot. We have two incredible speakers that would answer your questions. Wow. Thank you, Salif. You're welcome. Okay, no problem. For the time you'll be here, we hope you learn what you can get from us. We have 1 minute left, 1 minute left before I welcome Toby, our speaker and moderator, our host and moderator. She's going to take over. Welcome, Doshima Abraham. You're welcome. Tochi Emenike, you're welcome. Yes, yes, yes. That's something you're going to learn today. That's something you're going to learn today. Welcome, Michael Eze. Welcome, Folashade. Welcome, Debbie. You're at the right place, Michael Eze. You're welcome. Okay, so I would be inviting Toby Ransom. She's our host and moderator, and she will be taking us further in this webinar to invite our hosts. So Toby, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Wow, it's really good to have everyone join us today. You're welcome. I can see so many people. Thank you so much for making out time to join us today. I know that today is Friday, and for some of us, we finish quite early, and it'll be like a time for us to relax or just carry out some personal tasks. But you made out the time to join us. So yeah, thank you very much. My name is Toby Ransomed, and I'm the convener of the Development Conversations. The Development Conversations is actually a platform that creates discussions or creates avenue for discussions or conversations that matter. So why conversations? A brief history about this. Over the past year or so, I have been meeting and interacting with development practitioners like you and I in workshops. You know how it is. We go for workshops, we go for meetings and things like that. And yeah, in the course of it, you meet different people. And over time, we started having discussions and conversations, because after a while, you start asking yourself, what I'm doing in my work, does it really matter? This problem, is it really going? Is it really increasing or reducing? So before I joined the development sector, I was, and I still am passionate about making a difference in education. And I had this lofty dream that I am going to move to a remote location and then go and support a school, start a school, revolutionize education, so many things. And then after I joined, after like 3 months or so, it felt as if the problems were not reducing. And after 1 year, I went through burnout that I had to take a long break just to recover. So I was working in humanitarian section, humanitarian context. And after that, I started having conversations with people. And then last year, it became more prominent. We started asking ourselves, this is our work. Is it making a change? Because it just feels like a drop in an ocean. How can we continue to stay motivated? The context is changing. Funding is either reducing or the type of crisis is changing. How can we remain relevant? We just had so many questions. And so in June, I was having a conversation with a dear friend and colleague, and we just said, I provide that platform for us to have this kind of conversation? So instead of sitting among ourselves and talking and even bordering on complaining, can we create a platform whereby we have development practitioners, we have people that have worked in this sector, we have our leaders come in, and we have valuable conversations where we find solutions, we find inspiration and motivation for our work to continue going, right? So that was how we started Development Conversations. And then the first one that we had was looking at the issue of if our work is meaningful, because if you have been working in this field, you're either working on a project or a set of projects, and you have targets that you have to meet. You have your logical framework that is guiding your work and things like that. And it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers and forget about the people that you're supposed to be working with. And so during that session, we looked at the issue of if our work is meaningful, right? And it was a wonderful session. It was on the 28th of June. We had two wonderful speakers, Adetiba and Paulina Ada. And here we are, we're back again today, and we're looking at another important topic. And for this session today, we're going to answer the question of staying relevant. So you might be someone that is just starting in the development context, or you're just joining it, or you might be someone that have spent a couple of years and you're beginning to lose steam. Because one thing about development work is that it is a work of both passion, heart, and also grit and intellect. And then after a while, you might start losing steam. So if you're someone like that, welcome, you're in the right place. And then if you're somebody, again, that is even a leader and you just want to hear what other leaders are saying, you're in the right place. So we're going to be looking at all that. I'm going to quickly share just a short video introducing what this session is about before we have our speakers join us. So can you confirm that you can see my screen? Just to let you know that there is no sound to this, so it's fine if you don't see any sound or if you don't hear any sound. This is just video introducing the topic and introducing our speakers before I go into that. Just give me a minute. So just you can go ahead and remind your colleagues and everyone that we have started. We're about to start our conversations. Thank you very much, and I hope you find this conversation very helpful. So I'll go in straight now to introduce one of our speakers, our panelists. We have him here. Before I do that, I want to send a special shout out to my former line manager, Mamadou. Thank you so much for joining. It's really good to have you here. And I'll now go on to introduce my current line manager. So this is a very special meeting for me. Just a minute. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, so yes. Like I mentioned, all right, thank you very much. Our topic for today is staying power, which is maintaining relevance and impact in development work. Today, we don't just want to talk about maintaining relevance, but we also want to talk about maintaining impact. So the ability to stay very long and within this context, and also still be relevant and make impact. Our speakers, we have Mr. Laban Onisimus, who is my current line manager, and I'm so excited and honored to have him here. And we also have Olumide Frederick Adetiba. So I'm going to read his profile, but what makes this very special is that he's also my pastor. So it is an honor to have two people that are responsible for my growth spiritually and also career-wise. Join us. So I'm going to read a bit about Mr. Laban. He's the head of social development programs with Plan International Nigeria. He has over 18 years of experience in the development and humanitarian sector. He has worked around across various fields, including education, health, women's empowerment, climate change, and child protection, with a focus on conflict-affected regions of Nigeria. Over the past 5 years, he has been leading teams at Plan International. 18 years is no joke, and I'm sure you're all excited and looking forward to actually hearing from him. Next is key achievements. Mr. Laban has led consortia influencing state commitment to gender-responsive education financing. He has worked with partners across Nigeria and West Africa to improve gender-responsive services in the public sector. Just a minute. Yeah, so just to say that something that stood out to me when I started working closely with Mr. Laban is his ability to network and build relationships and partnerships with people. I had the pleasure of traveling with him to 3 different states. That was in July. And I could see the number of people and network that he has been able to build. But it wasn't just about building network with people, but it was also about the impact that he made in the lives of people. And everyone kept on attesting to that. And then also the number of lives that he has changed from just interacting with the government partners and stakeholders. Everyone could say, oh, they could point out one project or the other, that Mr. Laban, because of the project, they were able to reach so many children, they were able to empower women and the likes of it. So it's very good. We're so happy to have you here. Please, can we give him a warm welcome, everyone? Just let's put our hands together for him. It's really nice and good to have him here with us. Our next speaker, just a minute. Our next speaker is apologies, please. It's Olumide Frederick Adetiba. He's the co-founder and executive director of Madiba Foundation for Good Governance. He's a seasoned professional with expertise in strategic human resource management, organizational development, and advocating for positive change in Africa. He has extensive experience in both for-profit and non-profit sectors, including key roles at Premium Times, supporting Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism, now Center for Journalism Innovation and Development. His work emphasizes empowering organizations and fostering social equality for marginalized groups across Africa. Some of his achievements include co-founding Madiba Foundation, playing a pivotal role in managing grants for major donors like MacArthur Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He's actively involved in Not Too Young to Run movement and serves on the boards of several impactful organizations. I'm sure you all have heard about Not Too Young to Run and how the bill was passed a couple of years ago. He holds a master's in sociology from Stellenbosch University and a professional diploma in HR management, and he has co-authored several books such as 40 Life Lessons at 40 Faith and Governance, Politics and Spirituality in Nation Building, Testimony to Courage, and Uncaged. So I want you all to please give our speakers a very warm welcome. Let us welcome them. I want to see the chat box buzzing. Please, let's welcome them, everyone. Let me see the excitement in the chat box. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Laban. Thank you very much, OFA, as he likes to be called. Thank you. It is so good to have you here. So we're going to dive right into our session, right? And I want to start with OFA. Can you tell us your story? Who is OFA? And as you're telling us your story, what does relevance and impact mean to you?
Thank you, Lady Toby. Thank you to you and your entire team for having me here. And I want to say well done for this really great initiative. It's an initiative that I believe is needed in the sector. Just as an aside, yesterday I was talking to one of the leaders in the ecosystem, and we were talking generally about the ecosystem, particularly regarding Nigeria. And one of the things he said is that it's really important to, have a space where leaders in the ecosystem can come and talk and share and onboarding and all of that, because of the nature of the work that we do. Because it's centered around human development. It's centered around social problems. And in the process of doing all of that, you get to carry a lot of weight, a lot of burden, particularly people who work in the humanitarian sector, where you get to see a lot of things that are really wrong and a lot of problems that people are going through. And so having this platform, to just have conversation generally about our work is really great. And so well done to you and your team for putting this together. I'm just going to speak very quickly about, my story is quite a long one, but I'm going to try and summarize because I know that we have less than 2 hours on this call. About myself, I'm a social engineer and a social reformer who is passionate about helping individuals and organizations navigate transformation for social impact. And so these are keywords in what I do. Transformation, social impact are very central to what I am about. And this has informed my work over the years. I have worked with several social impact organizations, and I must say that all the organizations I've worked in, both in the for-profit and the non-profit space, not-for-profit space, are all social impact organizations. These are organizations whose mandate and vision focuses on the society as a whole. So it's not just about them as an organization, but about the society. And so I've always been drawn to organizations that focus on making a difference in society. And I would say that these came about, I would say, due to my academic background. My journey actually started at the University of Jos. So I did a diploma in social work for development, and that is where my development work and interest started from, where I got exposed to social case work, group work, community development, and all of that. And then from there, I proceeded to study sociology at the same university. And doing that also further exposed me to social institutions, how society works, social problems, social engineering, and all of that. So I would say my passion for social and human development was crystallized, at that point. My master's degree was also in sociology, addressing critical social problems in society. And so this is my journey in the space, and I would say my story in a nutshell. And to go to the other side of the question, talking about what relevance and impact, what they both mean to me. For me, relevance and impact for me would be any initiative or project that addresses the present challenges of the people and improves their social functioning. So any initiative or project that, that is focused on addressing the problem of the people, that is focusing on improving the social functioning of the people, for me, that is, relevance and impact. So something or a project or initiative for me will be relevant and impactful if it transforms society, if it is focused on meeting the pressing needs of the people. And so I would say that for me, development generally is about the people. is about the people. And I know that we care a lot about the numbers, and that's that's what we actually even, when we talk about the difference between economic growth, for instance, and economic development. Economic growth will focus on the numbers, GDP and all of that. But economic development will focus on the people. We'll focus on the people, how are people being lifted out of poverty, how is the social conditions of the people, how are the social conditions of the people improving, and all of that. And so it's about the people. So it is relevant and it's impactful if it improves the social conditions of the people. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. Like, that is just something to keep before our eyes. It's relevant and impactful if it improves if it improves the lives of the people. Thank you, sir. So over to you, Mr. Laban. I have the same question. We would like to meet you. And if you can also tell us in a word or two or a sentence what relevance and impact means to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Toby, for this opportunity. 2 months ago, Toby informed me of this platform, and I was so happy. And I recall, say, please, can you quickly lock my calendar on this? Yes. I was looking forward to where we'll have this kind of discussion. My name is Laban Onisimus. When I mention my name, people ask me, are you from Ghana? I'm a Nigerian, a northerner, yes. I started this work 18 years ago. And like most of us that are doing into programming, we started like the M&E, the volunteers, yes. So 18 years ago, that's where I found myself. However, I had a brief stay with the government. And I think that is where I learned skills on how to work with them, not deal with them, please, work with them. So I had a brief stay with them, 5 years. But along the way, I think I made a statement. I said, if I continue in this space, I'm going to miss heaven. Yes, I told myself this. So because I don't want to miss heaven, where do I go? So I went to the mining pits. I'm a geologist by profession, University of Jos. Yeah. So I went to the mining pits. Yes, great geosites. I went to the mining pits, stayed there for like 5 years. And then I started going into the development work. My first darling in the development work is the WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Then I quickly moved to education. So I have been out there for this number of years and have been pushing in. Now, relevance and impact. Yes, you see, relevance is actually the degree to which something is purposeful and meaningful. And this usually springs up from a proper understanding of the context where you work. And usually when you are trying to weigh whether a space is relevant, what you're doing actually is context analysis. Now, does it align with the current realities of the world where we live? Is it really an issue? When you began to go into such kind of deeper analysis, what you are trying to do is that you are trying to establish relevance. So for me, this, I believe, is what relevance is all about. My keywords for this is purposeful and meaningful for relevance. Now, impact, all of us, we know that impact could be to extent to which an action, a project, an initiative, a program cause a significant change please, I'm using the word carefully, the word significant, because it has to come out. Yes, we may do one or two activity, there could be a shift, but for it to be an impact, the word significant must really come in. I'm sure most of us have heard creating a lasting impact. So it means that for an impact to be called an impact, it has to be lasting. It has to take some time. Yes. So, Toby, let me stop here. And I hope I've responded to your questions on impact and also relevance. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm really excited because we're all Josites. There are only two universities in Nigeria, University of Jos and others. This is my turn to actually, because usually when you meet people that have gone to University of Ife, the Great Ife, you know, or UNN, they always throw it in our faces. So because we are the ones that have the microphones right now, or we're the ones that are talking, please, University of Jos and others. So thank you very much, sir. Absolutely. What you said about relevance being purposeful and meaningful, and then also when we look at impact, we're talking about significant change and it being lasting. Thank you to you both, because you have already started entering some of the questions. So I want to go back to straight now into the meat of this discussion. OFA, can you tell us what strategies you have used to adapt to evolving global development goals and emerging trends? So we know that the development space, or even the needs of the people, because the whole idea behind development stems from meeting the need or addressing gaps or challenges and making impact in the lives of people. And we know that over time, things have been changing. So the goals have been changing. And then there are emerging trends. We have climate change, we have technology, we have reduced funding and the rest. What strategies have you used to stay relevant and true to your mission?
Thank you. I mean, this is an important question, really, and let me confess now that I'm also looking forward to the answer that my leader, my senior in this space, will also be providing to this particular question and other questions that are coming. All right. Because I'm in this space, still navigating the space myself, you know, still understanding the space, and I'm still learning, you know, within the space. But I will just share with us that as a social engineer, I've been taught to expect and prepare for change. I've been taught to expect and prepare for change. Sometimes some of the changes that we experience are guided, they are engineered, and sometimes they are brought about by innovation and technology. And other times there are changes that we also experience that are not guided. These changes are usually highly disruptive, and the disruption can be both negative, in some other instances can be negative, can be positive. And like you said, change, we keep experiencing change, you know, the needs of the people keep changing. The world itself is changing. There are a lot of things that are happening around us that sometimes we don't have control over. Sometimes I also want to add, sometimes even the focus of the funders also, you know, changes sometimes. There are global events, you know, that affect, you know, the interests of the funders. For example, since the war in Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine war, it has affected the direction of funding. Of course, COVID-19 was brought about a major disruption. And so all of these are factors, you know, that examples of how the world has been changing and how even global events also affect us, you know, in Nigeria, in our own space. And so I would say the first thing is to expect and prepare for change. That would be the first strategy. Always expect and prepare for change. The second strategy would be ensuring that our structures are flexible and not rigid. Ensuring that our structures are flexible and not rigid. And this applies to every aspect of our lives. It applies to all organizations, ensuring that the structures that you have put in place are not rigid. And the third strategy that I would just share very quickly because of time is that in our approaches, we're amenable. And so being amenable in our approaches and strategies to solving problems and to engaging in that space is very, very, very important. And the mission, you talked about staying true to the mission. That is very, very important. It's important that in the midst of trying to navigate the changes, trying to navigate everything that is changing. Technology is a major disruptor. AI now is a major subject now, even amongst funders and all of that. So these three things are things that I would suggest for those who are here to imbibe as a way of navigating these changes, being amenable. The other part of it is also, before I say the last thing, I want to again emphasize the mission, like you said, staying true to the mission. The mission is the well-being of the people, all right? That is the mission, and that must remain the mission. As things change, as we experience disruption all over the world, even as the funding focus of funders also even changes, we must remain on the mission, which is the well-being of the people, because development work is about the people. It's about the betterment of the people. And so that is very, very important. So we must focus on that. Continue to focus on how the changes affect the people and then finding ways to solve the problems. And I also want to lastly add that sometimes you also find yourself moving, depending on the way things are changing in the space. You have to move. You have to look for intersections. So now that there's a lot of conversation around technology, around AI, you sit back and you're looking for intersection of AI with what you're doing. How does AI impact where you are? How does AI impact your work and all of that? So that is part of what you have to be thinking around. And if your structures are flexible, your approaches are amenable, it will not be difficult to do that, to look at these intersections and see how you can also bend here and there without losing sight of the well-being of the people. So that is very important. And then, of course, no single organization can solve all the problems. So you just have to then look for how the things that are being introduced, how do they, align, with what you're doing, the global, goals, the changing focus and all of that. Just look for the intersection, and find how they align with what you're doing, how they align with your mission, and then continue to put structures in place. And I will say this lastly, sometimes we've sat down with funders, and after looking at our areas of focus, sometimes they will ask, okay, are you guys flexible? Are you guys flexible to look into new areas? And yes, you have to be flexible to look into new areas. And if you look well enough, you would see how they connect with your mission. And like I said, it's about the well-being of the people. You will always see that intersection. And so, again, the strategies are expect and prepare for change, ensure that your structures are flexible, you are not rigid, and also be amenable, and always look out for the intersection of global shifts with your core purpose, and then do not lose sight of your mission, which is the well-being of the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and also for just summarizing everything that you have said or restating the points. So over to you, Mr. Laban, and I want you to help us look at this same question, but look at it at an individual person. So OFA did a great job of giving us both the organizational level and then also to some extent the individual level. But I want you to help us situate this same question as an individual for over 18 years in this sector. How have you actually stayed the course despite the shifting priorities, the challenges, and things like that? Thank you.
All right, let me write on what this last speaker have just said now to emphasize on this. For me, one of the key things that I do is to be knowledgeable about the context. Is very key. Development work, and just like you have said, we should expect change at all times. So you need, as a matter of fact, to be knowledgeable about the context you work at all times. You don't have any excuse to say, I don't know. No. So be knowledgeable about the context where you work. Let it be at the fingertips. Let it comes out with evidence of figures. Go into the arguments of policies. Go into the arguments of things that do not work and things that you think can work based on the understanding of the context. Then, can you go a step further by understanding what are the world views about those issues that you are trying to develop? Let me give you an example. We were to support the federal government to develop a curriculum for out-of-school children. And here we go, signing a contract with the donor, engaging with government. And at a point in time, someone sitting there in New York saying that they will come in to help us develop curriculum for out-of-school children. I said, no, sir, you don't understand the context. Yes, you have an overview of the world views of what it means to be out of school, but we have a context in the country that it is only us that can solve. So please, can you allow us to take the lead on this? And I did that respectively. I said, no, I'm not doubting your capacity to do it. I'm sure you will come in and all that you're going to tell me is based on what you have read. You have no experience in it. So allow me to take the lead on that. Allow those of us that are in the problem, that feel the problem, that in fact some of us have contributed to the problem, to be the ones to solve this problem. So despite the fact that understanding the worldview of the problem, you also need to stay in charge. Then this is very key. You need to strengthen your networks. Strengthen your networks. Establish relationships with the donors, with your peer organizations, even with organizations we call national or local NGOs. Establish relationship with them. You see, gone are the days where a call by a donor would just be sent out and all of us would be clamoring over it. These days, they call. They say, look, this is what we want to do. Can you, I've identified 5 of you. Can 5 of you bring up a concept out of that? So you see, it's not about how beautiful you are going to write. Because if you say you're going to compete with someone who, we have AI, just as you have said, all I need is to type the whole of that proposal and it will come out. But there's a human angle to it, which is the relationship. So you need to establish relationship. Now, how do you do that? Open communication. Open communication. You need to keep them informed what you are doing. Statutorily, there are reports that you need to send. Yes, do that. However, at the other side, call them. Say, this is what we are doing. Are you interested? Can you come in? With that, you are cementing the relationship as you go on. So you need to establish your networks very well, and you need to also establish relationship with those that you are working with. Then the last 7 to 8 years, I have seen donors interested in multi-sectorial approach to this our work. So when you're talking about the issue of out-of-school children, you don't just leave it out-of-school children. How do you link the issue of life skills, the issue of vocational skills, the issue of women empowerment in a single project? And it's possible. It's very, very possible. So the multi-sectorial approach, and which our development index have shown very clearly, that for us to get it right, all our development work, we must approach it in a multi-sectorial way. Once we do that, then we will go a long way in addressing issues at the same time. Over to you, Toby.
Thank you very much. This is really, really helpful, talking about being knowledgeable about the context, strengthen our network, multi-sectoral approach. And this brings me to my next question for you, Mr. Laban. So when you started talking about network, I said, okay, this is it. Because my next question is actually looking at that, about the role that people play in maintaining the impact of our work over time. Right, so you've already started touching on it, and I would want to hear more. I'm sure also our participants will want to hear more. What role do people play when we look at people in the sense of the donors, the stakeholders, the people, the government, community leaders, and everything? I would want you to just explore a bit on that area, especially through the lens of partnership and collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toby. And let me say this. Networking or establishing relationship with the people we work with starts with you as an individual. Why are you doing the work you're doing? Are you doing it because you want to just push time, or are you doing it because you want to get the money and leave? Or are you doing it? Somebody recently approached me to say, sir, is it possible for me to come to plan? Because if I come to plan, it's a gateway to the UN system. I said, oh, is that the reason why you want to come to plan? Not to work for girls? So you want to see plan as a gateway to the UN system? Well, that aside. So it starts with you as an individual. How do you relate with people? If a chapter is to be written about you, in the Bible, we have a book and a chapter. So if chapter 1 of the book of Toby will be written, what will be said on you on chapter 1, on chapter 2? Yes, so it starts with you as an individual. Why are you doing what you're doing? How are you doing it? Are you doing it with integrity? Are you doing it and people will tap you at the back and say, yes, you're doing it with quality, you're doing it with integrity, you're doing it with all your heart? Because it starts there. If you are not serious about the work, there's no way you can establish the relationship, let alone the issue of the networks, because people will definitely have a knowledge of how you have impacted them positively or negatively as you go along doing this work. I have been in serious conversations that with people that I have met like 10 years ago, And I'm meeting them now, and they're telling me, oh, it's because of you that we did this. And I sat down and I said, okay, what about if I have done the other way around? How will it sound now? Or what will be the testimony of that individual on me as a person? So it starts with the individual. How do people perceive you? How are you doing the work? Why are you doing the work? And what changes do you want to see? I still have people calling me from Tungan Bature. Tungan Bature is a neighboring town somewhere in Niger, in Benin Republic, bordering Kebbi State. Still calling me to say, that school, the children are still going to that school. So it starts with the individual, having the basis, then acting in integrity as you go along, affecting the lives of people. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Like, the response is so valuable because it looks at our motivations, what we're doing, and also how we do our work. Yeah, so basically our quality, the quality of who we are as people and what we do determines the kind of network that we build and things like that. And this conversation so far has been very, very like interesting to me, and I'm also learning from it, and it's also solidifying my motive as a person. You know, when we look at the issue of putting the well-being of our project participants or the people we're working with at the forefront of our mind, it will now determine the quality of our work. If we're just doing it for the numbers on paper, you know, and just doing it for anything and not because we want to be purposeful and meaningful, and not because we want to make an impact on the lives of the people we are called to make an impact on, then we end up doing it like Hausa people will say, wala wala gobe kaswa. So you just do things anyhow because tomorrow is market day. But I know that because we are all here, that is not who we are. So thank you once again for this very valuable response. So over to you, Owefe, and I want us to shift to looking at the issue of balancing innovation and consistency, because we've talked about how we can remain valuable, how we can remain relevant. We've talked about expecting and preparing for change. You know, Mr. Laban has touched on an issue of, you know, looking at worldview, looking at our context and things like that. And that brings us to the issue of being innovative in our work. But in the course of being innovative, how have you balanced the need to be innovative with the demand for consistency? Right, so we want to hear that. So let us not, like, as we're trying to be innovative, how do we ensure that we're consistent with the methods, proven methods, things that have worked, and we have not just gone out and doing things anyhow? Over to you, Owefe, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Onisimus, for, you know, for your submissions. I can see that you're really passionate about the work. And I think that is the heart that is actually needed for anyone to succeed in this space. You must carry a heart for impact. You must carry a heart for the people. That is very important. And I can see that in what you have been sharing thus far. This question is quite interesting, and I must really commend Lady Toby and the team on how you guys engineered all these questions. They're actually quite thought-provoking. You know, you really have to really think about them. Innovation and consistency, really, really tricky and great, brilliant question. I would look at them this way. In a sense, I would say that they are not mutually exclusive. In a sense, innovation and consistency are not mutually exclusive. I don't think we should see them as either or something that you have to trade something for the other, trade one for the other. And I'll put it this way: it is important for us to innovate consistently. So that way you can see now the two terms have come together. So you must innovate consistently. I agree with the statement that if it is not broken, don't fix it. All right, there's that saying, if it is not broken, don't fix it. So if you have something that is working, there's no need, to tweak it. There's no need to fix it. But it also depends on who is looking at it. It depends on who is using it. All right. So it depends on perspective. It depends on who's looking at that thing. Because to someone, to A, it may be effective. It may be okay. It may be working, but someone else can come and look at that same thing and say, okay, this thing can be better. Or the person can come and say, this particular approach is broken. It needs fixing. So again, it depends on who is looking at it. It depends on who is using or who is implementing that particular measure or project or initiative. And so it's important to innovate consistently. It's important to look at things differently and see how it can be improved on. And so if a particular approach is not broken and is working, you also want to find out, how can I innovate to make it more efficient? How can I innovate to make it more effective? All right. So that's why I said we must innovate consistently. The world is changing rapidly. So it's not just even about technology that is being introduced. It's also that the world is changing. Social conditions are changing. Different things are coming up that are offsetting the things that we know and the things that we've been doing. All right. And so somehow you then realize that at some point it becomes imperative to revisit what we're already doing, and see and ask ourselves the question, how can this be better? All right, how can this be improved on? All right, even though it's already working, how can it be improved on? Because the dynamics are all over the place. Sometimes the dynamics could be around the intensity of the problem itself that you're trying to solve. Sometimes it could be around the number of people that are now being affected. So if we now have more people being affected, so then you'll then be okay. We now need to change our approach. We need to, move things around here and there. And then sometimes certain things, will not just work again, and then you will need to replace them. And so, like I said, it may not be broken, but is there room for improvement? Can we improve it? Can it be, be more effective and efficient in delivering what we wanted to deliver? And so these are the questions. And that is why we need a consultant from time to time. And even consultants need consultants. And I know this because I provide management and organizational development consultancy for companies and organizations, including NGOs. And then sometimes if you're working on something, so to you that you're interacting with it internally, it's okay, nothing is wrong. But when you get, external pair of eyes to look at what you're doing, and you're like, oh, okay, what you're doing is really great, but I think you can produce more. What you're doing is really great, but I think it can be better, and so that is how I choose to see consistency and innovation. So I think we should learn to innovate consistently. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Like, this is so helpful. And it is so true about having external eyes look at things, because when you are the one interacting with your work, most times we actually have like a closed view to what is happening, and then it's very difficult to lift up your eyes. But when you have an external person or even someone that is outside your own team look at the problem, they're able to actually identify and provide solutions. And I also like the fact that you mentioned when innovation can happen. It could be that when things are changing or when things are no longer working. And also, just to paraphrase one of the things I said, or when the numbers are high. So something that works for 100 people might not work for 500 people. And so it calls for innovation and consistency. Thank you very much. Please, I would like to request that if you're not speaking, that you mute your mic. Please, can you help me?
No, keep answering your call. Finish.
Sorry,
Just
give
answer
me
your
a
call.
minute. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I can see the comments coming in. So I'm going to quickly move to Mr. Laban. And I would want us now to look at the issue of building resilience. So because like we've mentioned over and over again, things are changing and everything, but particularly development work can be very, very challenging. And that's because we're working with human beings basically, and people change, context change, and the system change, and that can be challenging. So you can have both internal and external challenge and things like that. These challenges can usually push people out of the system, or people become redundant. So they come to work, they are doing the work, but they are no longer there, and their work stops being relevant or impactful. So can you tell us how you as a person has built resilience? Because one thing I can attest is that you are a very, very resilient person. I've interacted with you. I've heard what people have to say about you. So how have you maintained resilience over these years?
Thank you very much, Toby. I was managing a project, and the overall objective of the project is that we are going to measure the resilience of people. I say, what is this? How do we do it? So, on a personal note, for me, building resilience starts with the word discipline. Yes. You need to be disciplined to stay on this job. Discipline in all phases. Now, I don't have my mail on this phone. She knows it. I don't have it. I have a personal life after work. And as soon as it's 5, I drop this laptop, I address other issues related to my life. So discipline is very key. I have time that I eat food. It's not because others are eating and there is availability of food, then I will eat. I have time for sleep. So when it is time for sleep, I leave what I'm doing and go and sleep. So I live in this kind of regimented and well-structured life that has helped me build resilience as I work. I know the impact of trying to do everything, how it will tell on my health, how it will tell on my personality as a person. So I don't do everything. I try as much as possible to ensure that what I believe in, I follow it through. This has helped me over the years. This has helped me build resilience as I do this work. And I always tell people, my colleagues, that look, if you see me leave an organization, it's because it's time for me to go. No human being's attitude towards the work will make me leave. But when I'm leaving, be sure that is actually my time to go. So I have built resilience over the years with this set of attitudes and this set of discipline that I have learned over the years. Because let me tell you, this is our work. You do 1,000 things at the same time. Yes. And as I grow in the work, I began to realize that as a leader, there are some things that should not be seen you doing as in. So how do you talk? How do you relate with people? On several occasions, I am tempted to shout, to say, please, can you people leave me? But I will remind myself, say, no, if you say that, what will Toby say again? So I have remained consistent. I have remained resilient over the work by putting some sets of discipline in my life. And that has helped me a lot. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I just saw one of the comments from a colleague, Nesto, and I just laughed as in, because it is so true. He said, wait a minute, understanding how to manage your work life and your social life is discipline. I am learning, I beg. And I read it in his voice because it is so true. Sometimes I think that there's a way that we kind of put discipline in one aspect of our life and we don't bring it to touch every other aspect of our lives. And it's very important. Discipline is not just about what time I resume work and what I do at what work hours. It also guides my life, what I do after work and how it affects everything. Thank you very much once again. So my next question is to OFA. So I know Mr. Laban has started talking about discipline and how he has been resilient, or how he has been managing to be resilient as a result of being disciplined. I want to hear from you, sir, like what values has helped you as a person and also ensure that your work continues to thrive despite external challenges. So we want you to expound more of this how you've managed or how you've been able to thrive as a person and, manage and still remain successful despite external challenges. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lady Toby. I mean, challenges generally part of life on one hand, and of course, in every sector, there are different challenges that we are confronted with, and even the development space, if we are to start, listing the challenges, there will be a lot that we'll be coming up with. Some of the things that are helping me stay the course, one would be commitment to the cause itself. Understanding what this is about. Understanding what this is about. It's very important. So once you understand what you're doing, you are in this space not because just like Mr. Onisimus said earlier, someone who wanted to come into plan because it's a gateway to UN. So this person is not so much about the cause. For this person, it's not a career advancement. So but if it's about the cause, if it's about what you want to achieve, why you are in the space, and you commit to that, that in itself will help you weather the storms that will come, will help you weather the discouragement and the setbacks that will come. And the way for me to look at it, the way I see it is that this is something that is bigger than me as a person. It's something that is bigger than me as an individual. It's something that has to do with the people, majority of the people. And then you realize that you can't sit back. Even sometimes when you want to give up, you sit back, there's just this frustration on the inside of you that says, no, you can't give up. The cause, you have to keep pursuing the cause. So staying true to who you are and commitment to the cause is one thing that is helping me continue in spite of setbacks and challenges. And of course, closely related to that is, looking at the bigger picture, the outcome, the ultimate goal, the why of your work, the why of why you're there, just looking at that. So the bigger picture, the outcome, the goal on one hand, and then constantly reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Constantly reminding yourself, why am I in this space? Why am I doing what I'm doing? So if it's humanitarian that you're working on, for example, and every day you keep seeing people needing interventions here and there, that is your why. Children, out of school children, for instance, getting them back in school, that is your why. And so if you keep focusing on that, constantly reminding yourself of your why, that in itself will help you, get up every morning, to go out, and sometimes, even within organizations, sometimes there are challenges. And then maybe you're having a problem with your line manager, you're having a problem with your boss. This is why we also help you get up, despite and in spite, the, problem that you have with your colleagues, because you'll be like, okay, there's a why I'm in this office. So the why I'm in this office is very important. So that will encourage you to get up, and go to work, because you know that there's something important that you're doing, that you're working on. And then lastly, I would add alignment of passion, vocation, and life's mission. So if we can find an alignment, an intersection where what you're doing and what you are being paid for is actually, if what you are being paid for is in alignment with your passion and your life's mission, you will always find the energy you need to keep moving. You will always find the energy you need to keep moving, and there are some people who have found this intersection, and once you find the intersection, it doesn't matter the difficulties that you'll be confronted with, you will pull through. You will keep pushing through, So having that alignment and that intersection will help you. It's like doing something that you would do even if you're not paid for it. If you have the means to do it and you're not paid for it, you still find yourself doing it. So if you can find that intersection, with that space where you are, you will always find the energy you need to keep moving. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Like, this is so true. And just to add that, I remember when I first got my offer, it was with TV Children. And I was so excited because I was telling my family then that, oh, I'm going to be paid to do what I love doing. Like, so for me, it was just like, I was just so excited about it. So thank you very much. Alignment is important. I know that, especially within the current economy, the tendency for people to just look for survival is very high. It's good, but while we're looking for survival, it's important that as individuals, we actually identify our passions and work towards working in that field. I think that is what is very important. And you can see from our speakers, like the both of them, you can see the passion just coursing through whatever they're saying. You can see that these people are people that they've found their place in life and they are working in it. So I'd want to encourage everyone here, if development space is not where you're supposed to be, if it's something else, while you are here, while you're giving us your 100%, so don't give us 20% because it's not your passion. While you're giving the 100%, please ask yourself question, identify where it is that your passion truly is and work towards moving there. Just to say that there are like valuable discussions and conversations happening in the chat, and I'm very, very happy. People are asking questions, people are answering questions. Thank you so much. It's good to have the energy here. Thank you so much, everyone. We have a question and answer session to which we're going to go into briefly, and we're already wrapping up. So we have just one or two questions for our speakers. I just want to tell you thank you once again. So I'm going to look at, I'm going to go to Mr. Laban. When we look at career longevity in development, how can individuals like develop, or how can individual development professionals ensure their skills and expertise remain relevant as the sector evolves? I know you touched on the issue of ensuring that, we keep increasing our knowledge and things like that. But now, can you advise us, as those of us that are in this space, we want to remain relevant? Personally, if this continues to be my assignment, I want to be here 10 years plus along the line. I want to be able to say I've been working in it, for the past 18 years and I've done this and that. So, sir, can you tell us, how can we remain relevant?
Thank you very much, Toby. And let me come the software component of it. I don't want to talk about go get more certificates, do reading. No. Attitude. It's as simple as that. I tell my colleagues that, please, this work, as you are doing it, there is the attitude component of the work that you need to maintain. Good, positive attitude. please, can you make it easier for me to make a decision on you? Because I have been in a place where decisions are being made concerning whether to extend your contract or to let you go. And in all the conversations, it's about attitude. It's not about, oh, recently he just graduated and added 1 degree. No, nobody talks about that. It's about your attitude. So I tell colleagues that I work with, please do this work with good attitude, so that in that place where they will be making decisions about whether to extend your contract or not, it will be easy and all of us will make a decision to keep you. You know this work, you will say, okay, I have signed a contract of 2 years or 1 year and the money has finished. We will look for the money as leaders to keep you. We will look for it anywhere. We will look for it. So if you want to stay long in this development or this work or anywhere, your attitude towards the work matters a lot. There are colleagues that I'm just eager for their contract to come to an end, and usually the P&C or HR will send a mail to you. Can you confirm if we can renew? I'm just waiting to say, please, there are no resources. Can this person go? Yes. And as soon as the person is leaving, I'm looking for someone that will replace him. But if that mail comes in to say, can you confirm? I will say, yes, I need this person to stay on this job. However, there are no resources, but I am currently talking to A, B, and C to see where we can get money to keep this individual. So attitude. And secondly, which is lastly, can you make your work relevant as you work? Can you also look at the gap in the organization? So you come to an organization and there is just one system analyst, just one. And you come in as an intern, let's say, and you are being paid there to support the system analyst on the work. And you have a contract of 1 year. Sincerely speaking, you are foolish enough at the end of the day to pack your bag after 1 year to leave, when you know that there is a gap in the organization that you can work and stretch and also get management to look for money to keep you. In fact, this time around, you are not going to be an intern. You are going to be an officer, the next step. Yes. So can you create the relevance? How do you do that? Hard working. How do you do that? Being available as you work. How do you do that? Quality delivery of the work. Yes. So for me, I believe these are the 2 key things. The other one at the softer angle, both of them are actually the software components: attitude, hard work, and understanding the gap within the organization and also creating relevance in that angle. Thank you.
Wow, as you were talking, I was both laughing and like saying yes, because actually OFA here is also the senior pastor of the Finishing Church, which I attend. And these are things that he actually touched on. I think it was either on Wednesday or Sunday. I'm trying to remember when, but he actually talked about this issue of attitude. And I remember a specific example saying, he mentioned, don't be part of the people that when you are leaving the work, they are doing send forth because everybody's happy for you to go. So when you said that, I laughed because that is so true. It is also very, very important what you talked about, being relevant, doing good work and doing quality work, because I have seen the extreme where a lot of people feel that, okay, let me work on my attitude. So they look at attitude as being palling or being friends or just, not really doing the work, but just focusing on I'm a good person and not doing the work. Well, both attitude and doing relevant work, identifying gaps, they are all the tires that you need in a car, right? Like a bus that is moving. You cannot remove one tire and say this thing. So if you remove tire of hard work, you say I have good attitude. go work. So this is so important. Thank you very much, sir. I really, really appreciate your response. So Efe, I know that you have had your experience of also being a HR professional. And so if you can just give early career people now, just one or two advice. I'm sure for everybody that is here, we've gotten advice. Personally, my notes is full, but can you just give us one or two solid advice for early career people? What can they do as they're entering this career? How can they just arrange themselves properly? Thank you. And then after this, you just give us the closing word from you and also Mr. Laban before we go into questions. I can see the questions already. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you again, Lady Toby, for this opportunity. The 2 points that had been made by Mr. Onisimus, they are so key. They can't be overemphasized. And as he was speaking, Lady Toby, I also remember it was on Wednesday, actually. It was on Wednesday, we were having this same conversation about how some people want to leave and you can't wait for them to leave. It's like as they are bringing the letter, you're already happy in your heart that they are leaving. And yet some people want to go. You don't want them to go. You are moving things around. You're making adjustments. You are looking for money to keep them. And so that actually borders a lot on attitude, like I said. That cannot be overemphasized. Attitude is very key. And of course, the second point on the quality of the work that you deliver on the job, that is also very key. I would add a few more points. Say, okay, continue to focus on your why. Also focus on your why. Why are you in that space? Because once you know why you're in that space, you will do everything you know you need to do, all right, to remain relevant in the space. Focus on your why. Focus on your purpose, why you're in that space. Another thing is also get mentors. Get mentors. Get people that can tell you the truth. Get people that can call out your foolishness. All right? It's very, very important. This is for young people especially. Sometimes you want to surround yourself with people that will tell you what you want to hear. No. Look out for mentors that will call out your foolishness. I have mentors that call out my foolishness. So this is not, degrading anybody. No. I have mentors that call out my foolishness that will tell me, hey, and I know them, they will not tell me what I want to hear. All right. So in that space as well, get mentors that will drive you, get mentors that will tell you the truth. Get people who have gone ahead in that space that will show you the ropes. I have seen people who have done so well in this space because of their mentors and because they were teachable. One of the ways to make the most of your mentors is be teachable. If you are not teachable, you will not be able to make the most of your mentors. So you have to be teachable. You have to be able to take instructions and follow through with ideas that they share with you. And of course, hard work is there. Be innovative with your work. Bring in little thing extra. Another thing I want to talk about, which we also talked about on Wednesday, is the need to know what your bosses want. You understand? Know what they want, know their expectations beyond what is on paper. Know what they want. If you can connect with their heart, connect with the heart of your line manager, connect with the heart of the ED, with the CEO, connect with their heart and make sure you deliver from that place. If you can connect with their heart, you will remain relevant in the space and of course be innovative. Cultivate both technical and soft skills. Soft skills is also around attitude, people, how you relate with people and all of that. So these are just a few things I want to share with us because of our time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there's no need to recap what you have said. Everything on point, sir. Thank you very much. So can you give us one word, just one word to close off before we go into question and answer? If there's any other thing that you feel strongly you want to share with us. Mr. Laban, it will be you next after him. Thank you.
Yeah. I would just say the development space is about human and social development. That's what it's about, all right? And if you're passionate about that, passionate about helping people, passionate about social transformation, I think you will do well. So if you are trying to come into that space, you need to ask yourself, what's my essence? What am I passionate about? So that you don't just do it because it's something that's available to you. And if you're in that space and you've not asked yourself this question, you can ask yourself the question now. and say, well, what is it about this space that is actually giving me meaning? All right, find it. And once you find it and you stay and you build on that, you will go far in the space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Laban, over to you.
All right, let me write on what he has said. My last keyword has to do with the issue of integrity. At a point in time, I had to tell a program manager to say, look, you see that thing that they are doing, and they will write names and the activity have not been done to cook reports. Me, I don't do it. So I don't want him to leave to come in doubt of whether Mr. Laban is doing it or not doing it. I told him headlong, you see that thing, I'm not doing it. I'm that person that will work in integrity. So if you want to remain and stay in power in this space, please work in integrity. I have told colleagues to say, look, your salary is the salary of a permanent secretary in the state, officers, a permanent secretary in the state. So why don't you live within your income? Why are you looking for money elsewhere in this work? You can go do your consultancy, but this money that is meant for humanity, leave it. Don't touch it. Because if you continue touching it, it's just a matter of time. Yes, it's just a matter of time. And you'll be rooted out. So work in integrity is very, very key and is very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to both of you. This has been such a powerful and impactful session. Even from what is happening in the chats, in our chat, I know that people are getting it. So this is an opportunity now for us to ask questions. I know some people have already asked their question, and other participants have done a good job of replying, but this is your chance. If you want to ask them again, our speakers, while we have them, please go ahead. Please, and also want to say that we have our feedback. Please, admin, can you share the feedback, the link to the feedback form on the general chat, please, everyone, so that we can share. And we're requesting that everyone should please complete it because it helps us to improve what we are doing. So this is now the time for us to ask our questions. Our wonderful participants, if you have a question, you can just raise up your hand, and then I would call you to answer to ask your question. Okay, if there is none, I think maybe we can move to the next, but maybe let me just ask some of the questions that were asked here. So you can just help us answer just give me a minute. But this thing about integrity is so important, I think, in our work, because we're exposed to so much, and then the tendency for people to want to dip their purses into what is not theirs is very high, especially in crisis area. But once you have that internal compass of keeping that sense of integrity, then that would guide you. Yes, it will also mean that, you might lose out, as some people will say losing out, but then it is fine, because at the end of the day, you're doing the work that you're assigned to do and being paid for. So I have this question, Mr. Laban, this is for you. The person was asking, is from Kashim Zachary, about balance. He says, I agree and envy you, sir, but in the context of humanitarian and development work, how feasible is it to consistently maintain a work-life balance? So this was with regards to how you live a disciplined life, you know what to do and when to do them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toby. The question you should be asking yourself is, do you know the work? Or are you struggling? And if you are struggling, do you seek for help? That is one. Two, when you go and clock in 8 a.m., what do? Do you stay in the corridors and be gisting over Nigeria. So what do you do within 8 to 5 on a daily basis from Monday to Friday that you cannot balance the work? Now, I used to tell people, you see, if you use these 9 hours very well, it's enough. It's enough. And especially in the development space, because in the humanitarian space, maybe if you don't attend to some issues, life-threatening issues, there may be loss of life. But in the development space, nobody is going to die. Yes. And if I respond to your mail at 11 p.m., you won't see it till in the morning. So why will I be on the computer or the laptop by 12 a.m. trying to respond to your mail when I should be sleeping or praying? If I send that mail, you won't see it, or you will be sleeping. Why don't I send the mail in the morning? When you're waking up, you see it and continue with the work. So you need to understand all this. That if I don't respond to your mail, nobody is going to die. Have that. Toby knows that very well. I have 0 unread mails. I read all my mails every day. So if I show you my mail now, is 0. I've read all my mails. So I'm not that kind of a boss that you will see 2,500 unread mails. Why? And I don't have my mail in the phone. So I use the 9 hours judiciously, working and ensuring that these 9 hours are enough. And as soon as it is 5 o'clock and I close this, except if it's so pressing that you will send a chat to me to say, please, can you help me on this? Then I will go ahead and do it. So you see, it starts from you. Have that benchmark, that baseline of things you want to see as you do this work. The work is so taxing. It's so taxing. And if you say you're going to do everything, then at the end of the day, you won't have a work-life balance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So just while you're here, the next question is context analysis. So when someone was very interested, immediately you mentioned it, I got the question. Can it be expanded, especially how context analysis is done? I know this is long, but maybe if you can just give us like a few sentences on what context analysis is. Thank you.
Okay. 10.5 million children are out of school in Nigeria. That's the narrative out there. Why are children not going to school? What is fueling insecurity in the north or the country as a whole? Out of this 10 million, 10.5 million, 60% of them are girls. Now, as you began to dissect a problem, what you're actually doing is that you are trying to contextualize and bring up issues that are contributing to the problem itself. So what you're doing, you're actually dissecting it and contextualizing the issue. So it's as simple as that.
Thank you very much. And we can have further chats with the person that asked the question, and I will ask it to Laban and he'll give us more answers. Thank you very much. So over to you, Owefe. This person asked, how can you demonstrate your value in an organization when working with a superior who belittles your efforts, making it difficult for you to showcase your strength? Owefe, over to you, sir.
Yeah, I think one of the core issues here will be communication. All right, it's like you're not gelling with this particular boss, and so you need to find out why. Why am I not gelling with this person? And sometimes the reason could also be not just the person; it could also be you. And so finding out the why is very, very important. Why am I not gelling? Why is this person looking down on my work? It's very, very important. And I will share this very simple example with us. In one of the organizations I had worked, there was a boss who, everybody was complaining about, tough, difficult, and all of that. And it was easy for people to just talk about it. Oh, it's difficult, it's difficult. And the more they talk about it, the more difficult the experience became. And so one of those occasions, I just got the wisdom to you need to change the way you see him. And when I got that, I changed the way I was seeing him. And because I changed the way I was seeing him, I was able to then relate with him better. And his attitude towards me then changed. So my experience of him changed on that account. So my experience of him then improved. So sometimes it could be a mindset, and it could be that the person may really just be tough. But you need to change the way you are perceiving the person. You need to change the way you are seeing the person, because that mindset all by itself is disempowering. And then the situation will continue. That is one. And of course, the second thing I would say is what I said earlier on. You need to figure out, what does the person want? Find out, what does the person want? How does this person want to be approached? How does this person want to be related with? So once you figure that out, it will help improve your relationship with that person. So those are the two things that we'll share.
Thank you very much, sir. My next question for you is monetary compensation enough to motivate a person to remain and grow in development work, or must there be a deeper passion?
The money is not enough. And I know a lot of people go into spaces because of the money. So when you hear about development work, you hear that, oh, it's a lot of money. And I know even from this session now, you hear that, so somebody is collecting in a development, the person is collecting, salary that is higher than the permanent secretary at the state level. So sometimes your head is like, oh, it's a lot of money. The money is not enough. You can get into it and you can start getting that money, but it won't keep you. You won't go far. If you don't have passion for it, it won't go far. It's just a matter of time you start making mistakes. It's a matter of time it will start showing in your deliveries. It will start showing in the way you do the job. It won't. So you need to connect. You need to find meaning. You need to connect. That's to be something that you're passionate about. And let's say because the development space is very broad, very, very broad. So let's say you are in an organization that is focused on a particular area that you're not, you're not passionate about. Remain there. Make sure you give your best. All right. Make sure you give your best. Find what is the meaning of the work in that space. So what will it look like if your organization meets its target and its goals? All right. Find that meaning and connect with it, and keep giving your best until you find yourself in a space, or in an organization that is focused on the area you are passionate about or you're interested in. Find the meaning. It's important. So once you find the meaning, connect with it, you're passionate about it, the money you're collecting will not be enough. It won't be enough to motivate you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. This has been so good. Thank you for your time. Thank you, our participants. You have kept this chat box very, very, very busy and interesting. And also, people have provided valuable answers too. So, for example, just to add, that if the relationship with the line manager is tending towards, of course, bullying and harassment and things like that, I believe that every organization has the right structure for reporting and things like that. But the first place to start with, just like OFA said, is to check our mindset. Sometimes sometimes we do not know what our line managers want and we do something else different. I mean, I've had examples. I remember, Mamodu, permit me to give this example. When Mamodu was my line manager when I was in humanitarian, that was around 2020 to 2022. And I remembered when he resumed newly, I could not just understand Mamodu. Now I'm just bringing out and confessing to everybody here. And I don't, anything Mamodu did, or maybe anything I do, so I can talk from my own side. I can't talk for his side, but for himself, I remember I would just get so worked up and upset, and this, I would complain. And then one day I happened to overhear a conversation that people were having about someone else. Oh, I think they're trying to reduce the team or something like that, probably funding. And the decision was no longer about how good the person was, but their attitude. And you won't believe it. That gave me the right to be said. I just had to calm down and say, wait. So if this is me now, that gave me an opportunity, like for a moment of epiphany. If this was me, I know that my line manager will say, working with Toby has been difficult, because honestly, I did not make it easy for him. And when I sat and I had that reflection, although the reflection was inspired by something else happening to another person, when I had that reflection, I had to go to him and then apologize. I said, oh, Mamodu, I'm really sorry. I know since we've not had a good working relationship and things like that. And after that, things became easier. And all of a sudden, I started understanding Mamodu. Like, this was someone that was complaining that I could not understand. While I had another experience in a different place, different organization, whereby I had to reach out to the person and talk to the person, but it did not work. That did not work. So what I had to do was also, after a while, after talking to different people in management, I had to now flag that officially for the organization to handle it. So it's just looking at those two different ways of handling things. But it is always good to check with ourselves first, see how we can manage our managers, and then do the work. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, OFA. Thank you, Mr. Laban. I have personally learned, if you leave me, I'm going to ask 500 questions. I've been warned to make sure that I stay within time. So thank you, our participants. I really appreciate you all coming. You asked questions fearlessly. People answered the questions and things like that. So thank you. Please, I would like to request that you fill the feedback form. It helps us to become better and do better, and also address other topics. Thank you once again, everyone. I do not have any other thing to add. And so I would like to call this meeting to a wonderful close. Have a good evening and enjoy your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Nice to see you all, Toby, Laban.
Thank you all.
Oh, Mamodu.
Good to see you, Mahmoud.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much. See my face here.
Yeah.
Oh, Mamodu. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Good.